I've been knocked down too much to knock it back up, and I bring the house down whenever the odds are stacked up against me.
How was your day today?
It was good. Yep.
Yeah,
I trained about 5 clients today and got a good workout
nice.
in. So yeah. How was your day?
Nice. Yeah, pretty good. I didn't get any training day today. I usually don't even schedule off days because something always comes up. Like I'm in nursing school right now, and so inevitably there's going to be like exams or things that I'm just not aware of. It happens all the time. So today was one of those days. So I just took today as an off day. That's just the way it usually works. Because if I schedule an off day, like let's say I scheduled one yesterday and then something came up today, what would happen is I would just be out a day of training, so that way I just train whenever it's possible because I know inevitably I'm gonna have off days,
Yep.
just happen. So
And that's where we grow though. So rest days
yeah.
are
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely get them. They're just sometimes not planned,
Right.
So
Oh yeah. It's devastating though sometimes because you're like, man, I was really, banking on hitting legs today or something, and you just
yeah.
make it and it's just, yeah, it's devastating.
For sure, for sure. There's a leg day, especially because I feel like legs are something that like I really need to bring up, and like inevitably like something always happens on leg day. So I actually had to switch it to a different day and was just like, okay, I'm gonna have to do it. It's just like shoulders, like chest, arms, like genetically, I feel like I'm there. It's not hard for me to develop those parts, but like legs, I definitely need like more growth there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any like body parts that you feel like need more attention?
Yes. I've been focusing on my back and my lats specifically.
Hmm.
I'm in figure, so I want to really nail down that X frame shape,
Hmm.
nice tapered waist. So I've been focusing on my lats, my quads definitely to get those thicker sweeps, and then my abs.
Yeah.
So the good old abs,
Yeah.
always hiding, and it's like, where are you guys? I know you're under there.
Yeah, abs are funny because it's like sometimes it like I know people, I train people, and some of them are my clients that they get lean, but they still like don't necessarily have like the greatest abs. I wonder if it's just an insertion thing where they're just genetically don't have great insertions or what. Or it might just be that they need to hit another level of conditioning to bring them out. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people I see, like, as far as like men are concerned, some people I see like in their off season at 250, 260, and they have abs. So it just depends.
Right. I know it's so unfair when I see that. I'm like, come
Yeah.
on.
So what made you get into, training, working out, fitness in general? Was that something that you've always been, interested in, or did something in your life happen where that became a part of it?
Yeah, so I was an athlete when I was growing up. I did basketball, volleyball, softball. I loved being active. I loved the team mentality. I loved working out.
Mhm.
And then growing up, my mom was actually a bodybuilder.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
yeah, so I lived that life with her. I was very like, what is going on here? Just watch her posing and the food she was eating. But growing up with that, it kind of inspired me. And actually I got really into it when my son started soccer. He had to start doing some weightlifting,
Hmm.
and the only time he could do it was early in the morning, and it was before he got his driver's license. So I would actually drive him there to the gym, and I'm like, well, since I'm here, I might as well start training. And so I asked my mom, like, hey, can you, send me up some training programs? And I just kind of started doing it slow, and a couple of my friends asked me to train them to get ready for like vacations or something, just because they knew I was starting to get into it.
Hmm.
And then we ended up actually opening up our own gym. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, so that's how I kind of started getting into the more competing side of it,
Mhm.
was just to try and get some exposure for my gym, to just kind of give me more knowledge as a personal trainer, because I got certified too. So
Hmm. How
yeah,
how how long ago, I know you said when your son was getting into, as you said, soccer, if I remember
Mhm.
correctly. So how
Yeah.
long ago was that when you started training?
I think it was probably in 2018,
Okay.
2019.
Okay,
Mhm.
so not too long ago.
No,
So
yeah,
that's
I'm
a
still kind of fresh.
yeah, but you're still, but I mean, it looks like you've like made some huge, jumps. I mean, like with your physique, I'm looking at your Instagram as far as that, and also, just in your lifestyle, opening up a gym and everything like that. What made you decide to open up a gym?
So my mom actually owned a nutrition store. She owned two
Mhm.
locations, and then COVID hit and it got really slow. So we were
Mhm.
trying to figure out how to supplement and how to keep it going. And
Sure.
I looked at her and I'm like, Mom, what's our backup plan? Training, personal
Yeah.
training, and nutrition programming, because that was my mom's niche, was the nutrition and the supplemental piece. And so we just kind of risked it and we opened up the gym
Hmm.
and I did my first show and just kind of went from there. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Where's the gym located at?
We're in Rockford.
Well, you have to like tell me. I don't rough for what is
Oh,
it? What?
Rockford, Michigan. Sorry.
Okay, Michigan. Yeah, sorry.
Yep.
I'm not like the greatest in American geography. So,
Oh, it's okay.
yeah. All right, probably people listening will know exactly where that is. But okay, so Michigan. How is I guess how is business going like with the gym? You get a good amount of clients there?
Oh yeah, yep. My mom
Yeah.
has quite a few. I have a
Mhm.
lot. And we have some members too. Our gym's a little bit smaller in size. It's kind of like a
Good.
dungeon, old school bodybuilder gym.
Those are
We
the
only have
best.
like, yeah, we only have like maybe two pieces of cardio equipment.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we roll. But people love it. It's very private. It's kind of like somebody said, it's like a really nice at-home gym that you can just access.
Yeah.
So I love that it gives somebody a peaceful place to just get a workout in, because a lot of people are just saying how slammed some gyms are and they have to wait in line for equipment. And I'm like, wow, that's
Sure.
crazy. So
Yeah, those are the best gyms, and especially for like right now, the only gym that's around me is a corporate gym, Planet Fitness, the
yeah.
usual, and unfortunately, like that's the only place that I can legitimately go to. I've got a little gym at home, but that's just kind of like a plan B if something doesn't,
Hmm.
work out. But I would love to have a gym next to me that's kind of like old school. We used to have. So I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. We used to have Redcon built a gym here that was
Oh,
real
nice.
is really nice. I guess you could say that's sort of a corporate gym, but they definitely have like a bodybuilding, side to them for sure. But then it closed down. So we were kind of like just, you know, out of options right now.
Yeah.
So I see competitors that are in great shape and everything, and they're at our Planet Fitness, and I could, they're making it work, of course, as you would,
Hmm.
but it's just not the same, it's just not the same, working out in a gym that's not that hardcore, feel to it. So
Right. Right.
yeah, yeah, I mean that's super exciting. And so you did your show. How did the prep for the show go and everything like that?
Oh, it went great. I've done three shows so far,
Okay.
so it's just really cool to look back and see how each prep you kind of learn something new about yourself. But
Hmm.
definitely the first prep was uh it was something new.
Yeah.
The just the getting in the meals and the consistency, I think that was a challenge just to overcome, especially life happens, things pop up. How do I still get my meals in? How do I do this, that? So after just kind of dominating that and just getting my cooler and having my
Mhm.
meals with me at all times just in case, I learned that piece. And then yeah, my last two preps have just went great. So
So is that all your trophies in the back there, or is that a mixture of somebody else's as well?
it's a mixture of
Mhm.
my mom's, my trophies, and a few of our clients that have competed.
Oh,
So,
nice. So you have
yeah.
some clients that actually compete too.
Yes. Yep. So we have quite a few.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful. I love that because I love the fact that not only are like you showing by example that you're competing, but then you also have like people, you know, going there on that journey with you. And it's really like a great thing because like not only are you doing it, but then you're motivating others to do the same.
Mhm.
And I know competing is not for everybody. That's not what I'm trying to say, but me being a person who loves, watching bodybuilding shows and all the divisions, especially figure is one of my favorites too. I love to see that. So what made you decide to go into figure and not some other divisions? Because there are some, really popular ones, newer ones, and so forth. Figure has been around for a little bit. They have some establishment, but why figure?
I had to look at my own body shape just to see what I would be, what a good fit for me would be. I can put muscle on pretty easy, a little bit thicker. So, and I love the figure look. I've always loved how they posed. They just look feminine and muscular, kind
Mhm.
of like just regal. And I've always just looked through my mom's old magazines and I just loved how their shape and how they looked. It's just I thought it was a perfect balance of symmetry, muscularity, and being feminine at the same time. So I just really liked how everything looked up on stage and their presence and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, that's a good reason to do it for sure. Do you see yourself ever like moving into another division, or are you gonna stay with figure?
I'll probably stay with figure. I do love to watch women's physique. I would love to do a routine like that. Just with figure, we don't get to
Hmm.
do, those minute-long routines. But
Yeah,
that's just a dream. Maybe down the road someday I'll try women's physique just because they are a little similar.
sure,
But
sure. So I imagine then at that point you'd have to like put on a little bit more muscles coming up from figure.
oh, right, right.
Yeah, yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, women's physique is pretty nice. There's like women now have like such a variety of divisions. I just think back in the day where they in some years back, I can't remember exactly the decade, but there wasn't really any female divisions, and then all of a sudden they introduced like women's bodybuilding, which is really equivalent to what about figure looks like now. And then they slowly started to do different divisions. People are getting more muscular. What do you think about? Do you think that there should be a cap on the muscularity of female divisions, if I'm making sense? I hope I am. Or do you think they should just, however much the envelope can be pushed, they should be allowed to push it?
I think that the lines are getting blurred a little bit. Like I
Mhm.
said, I know women's physique and figure, they're similar, but I think nowadays I see a lot of women doing crossovers.
Mhm.
So a girl that did figure can do physique. And I think just for the sanctity of keeping the divisions pure, I think that they should have more of a clear-cut example of what the competitor should look like.
Yeah,
Because I do think that 15 years ago, figure looked a lot different than it does now.
sure.
Um, and I I I applaud competitors, but I do think that women do need to watch for excessive muscularity just to keep the femininity of the sport. I think it's very important for women, and it's for me, it's hard to look at some of these competitors, and it's like I want to go as high as I can, but can I? Like, do I want to without
Yeah.
blurring those lines and kind of losing the softness? And I think you can be muscular, but also keep your your female oh, what do I want to say? Like
Your
just your
femininity. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I don't want to overuse that word, but yeah, I
Right,
think it
right.
is getting a
Yeah.
little blurred, but
True. And so it's interesting that you brought that up. So I was thinking about this, and I was talking to another girl about this. And so I feel like there's what gives me hope that that can be done, where you can be really competitive in figure and still be feminine, is the champion now, and it has been for quite a while, is Sydney. And if you see, obviously, like it on stage, a lot of the girls look very feminine because there's all makeup being used and certain like things that will feminize you.
that's a hard word.
Yeah, yeah. But I truly, when I saw Sydney and I met her a few times in person, she is truly very feminine. Like you would not, like if I told you that she was a figure champion, I mean this in a positive way, or like a bodybuilding champion, or someone who competes with other women that are extremely muscular, like you might not like see it because she is so feminine. She looks like a track athlete essentially. And and so she gives me a lot of hope that it can be done without pushing the envelope, without being overly muscular, without defeminizing yourself. And not only is she a champion, but she's been a champion for quite a few years, which also tells me that the judges are looking for that look. So,
Yeah.
and that's, that's exciting to me because the worst things that can happen is, the judges are looking for a look that you're not like willing to, attain. And then they kind of put you in this limbo space.
Yeah, she's incredible. I've looked up to her for many years. I
Mhm.
think she was actually in one of these magazines that I looked at, and I would like look at her diet and her supplements and her workout splits just to just try and even be like, what? Like she's just incredible. Yeah. So she's a good example of what figure should look like, definitely.
Right, right. And yeah, and by no means am I putting down anyone who does have like higher level of muscularity, maybe
Hmm.
even more so than needed in figure. I like the muscle, but I'm just strictly looking from the standpoint of being competitive and going for that title and what the judges want, not
Yeah.
necessarily what's like appealing to each particular individual. That
Yep.
varies. But yeah, so do you have I was gonna do like predictions, but that only matters if you keep up with a lot of the competitors nowadays. Do you keep up with figure as far as like the at the elite level, the Olympias, the who's in it and so forth?
I try to.
Hmm.
There's a few girls I follow on Instagram just because I look up to them. I like what
Hmm.
the content they post and just kind of like what they're doing nutrition wise and training wise. Yeah. So I try to keep up on it.
Got it. Is there anybody that you particularly like this year that you think is gonna do some damage? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot, so you
Oh
might
no, it's
not.
okay.
Hmm.
I still think Sid's got it.
Okay.
I do like that she kind of stays underground while she's prepping for the Olympia. I like that she's kind of got that mystery to her that shows me that she's dialed in. I mean, I'm not saying posting content makes you not focused, but I
Hmm.
like the suspense factor with her. I feel like she's posting a little bit more this year, but I know in previous years she's kind of like limited her posting about what she looks like
Yeah.
currently, and she'll do a lot of flat like throwback pictures.
Hmm.
But I mean her symmetry is amazing, her muscular development is incredible. I mean she's the queen of figure, I think, but there's a lot of
Yeah.
Tessa Meets. I follow her. I think she's great.
It's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah, I've had her on the show here, and I
Aw.
was I was just thinking that I'm looking at the competitor list right now, and she's on it, of course. And my assumption is that she's doing it, and yeah, I think she has a great look. I think she's going to be very competitive. I don't know if it's going to be this year, hard to say, but with figure they're allowing more movement. And I feel like that's kind of now the way they're doing things, even like in men's open bodybuilding, where it used to be one guy would always win all the time for like 8 years. And even if they weren't looking the best, nowadays it's like if you don't look great or if the other guy is better than you, they'll go ahead and give it to him. So I won't, it kind of looks that way for all the other divisions as well. But it could be that Tessa, makes quite a splash this year too. So we'll have to see. But yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with you for sure. Yeah, she's definitely up there. So what are your prospects in the future now? And so you've competed 3 times, you've won some titles. What are your next steps here?
I'm definitely gonna shoot for a national show next year. So I'm giving
Mhm.
myself probably the longest off season I've ever given myself, just because I know I need to put on more size.
Mhm.
I just wanna I have a lot more knowledge now underneath my belt. And my mom is my coach, so we've
Mhm.
been, planning on like our next move. So definitely, I mean, I won 2 overalls, so I'm gonna try to get my feet wet at the national level.
Yeah.
Kind of take out the worry of the outcome and just do it and get that experience down. So I think I'm going to do
Sure.
another national qualifier as like a warm up next year and then go into a national show just to see what I can do there.
Are you gonna do the same show as you did? this last time around, or is it going to be a different kind of show? Like
Yeah, it'll be a different
different.
kind of a show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you said your mom, she does your off season and your prep as well?
Yep.
Mhm. What did you guys discuss what your off season is going to look like as far as like diet training? Is there any changes that you're going to be making? It might be too
Yes.
early to. Okay.
Yeah, no, so my off season started about 3 months ago. So
Okay.
yeah, so we knew the areas I had to bring up. So those have been the focus. It's like my shoulders, my sweeps, my lats, and my abs. And definitely getting the right nutrition in so I can bulk up the right way with minimal fat gain. So this is probably the most nitpicky off season that I've done. So last 2 times I've ate good whole foods, kept my protein intake, but of course I had more treats than I should have. But this time around, yeah,
Of
I'm more,
course,
yeah, I mean,
that
it's like
always
here's that
happens. Yeah.
food. Yeah, it's like you're hungry. But I don't get me wrong, I do enjoy some meals with my family and here and there, but definitely the goal is fresh on my mind of I have a vision. I definitely know what I want to do. So it's like the sacrifice is still always going to be there and it's worth it. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's an exciting time when you're like progressing. I almost feel like when as you're moving up the ranks, it's more of an exciting time than when you're already at like the elite level. Because I feel like when you're at the elite level, the changes you're making are so minute, you know. It's like how much, and of course, I mean, we were just talking about the best, but even Tessa, like Tessa can make changes, but she's still like already at that higher elite level, making to Olympia and so forth. So the changes aren't going to be as drastic as they would be like for someone like you who's just starting out. So it's exciting to see those big changes. I
yeah.
always like that period. So
Yeah, and I definitely know in my first prep, I mean, I'm sure my mom told me, but in my mind, I'm like, the prep is everything, but really it's the off season. That's where the magic happens. The
sure.
prep, you're just figuring out what's under there, what you built for the last X amount of months that you've been in the growing season. So,
Yeah, and I think your mom is completely right in the fact of putting, mass on with minimal amount of fat, because I do feel like some people, and this is men and women, they really let loose in the off season. Off season basically for them means just eat whatever. And I don't my personal coaching style is I don't agree with that. I think there should be a surplus, but it should be controlled.
mhm.
And a lot of times people go uncontrolled, and then you've gained all this body fat that didn't really benefit you in your muscle growth, so now you have to cut all that off. So you have to think ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So
Definitely.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's all about balance, really. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to get too deep in the hole where you're looking like, oh man, my prep just got extended out to another month or two. I don't want to do that.
How is going on stage at like a very, really like the best shape of your life, and then coming off mentally? Is it easy for you to transition from off to on, or does it bother you to see your body change between those two, levels, I should say?
I think probably in my first show, it bothered me because it was like all that hard work and the months of dieting. And then it's like you see yourself put it all back on. But now I have a different mentality where I know that I can do it again. I know that I can cut down again, no problem. Like it's going to be second nature to me. And I know the benefits of having the off season now. Like that's where I grow. That's truly where the change happens. I mean, you can get some changes when you're in deficit. I mean, obviously you're cutting and seeing more, but
Right.
really how you change the most is when you're bulking and like you said, in that surplus. And I changed my mindset to instead of complaining that I'm losing my lines, it's like, look at the weight I can push now. Look what I can do now that I couldn't do when I was cutting because I was, tired and didn't have all that energy like I do now. So now it's like I'm actually not taking it for granted. I'm actually utilizing it a lot better. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of women do have a hard time with that, but I
Yeah.
always try to tell them, it's less about what you look like in the off season, but more what you can accomplish in the gym. And it's necessary. We can't change if we're always in a deficit or if we're in a maintenance phase. You have to get those extra calories to put some size on.
Sure. Sure. And it's also probably not the healthiest thing to be stage lean all year round too.
It's not.
I was just listening to a podcast. I think it was either Fuad or Dave Palumbo. I can't remember, but they were discussing the topic of like social media and how it kind of puts a lot of pressure on people to look good
Mhm.
and good by good I mean like stage lean good and all year round. And we've had several deaths lately, and they were just discussing that aspect of it, because in the past people would go off and go into their off season, and then you'll see them in the magazine sometimes, but it wasn't in your face like it is now. And that pressure is definitely on especially younger competitors.
Yeah, I had two clients start with me when I was almost done with my prep. I was about to compete. So they see me really lean, shredded. They were just like that, you look great. And then I I put all the weight back on and they were like, "Does it bother you?" And I said, "No, because I don't think you guys realize like how hard it is to be that lean
Yeah,
and to just be that tired and you're starving and
yeah,
like you don't have a lot of gas in the tank when you're really close to the show.
right. Yeah, you
So
look
I
you
just,
look good, but it's like a very uncomfortable, exhausting feeling. It's like
yeah,
you're
yep,
almost like you're ready to step on stage and then be done,
yeah,
so you could eat.
yeah, yep. I don't think that they realize,
Yeah.
that it's not the healthiest to look like. Yeah, of course you want to look like that, but you can't maintain that for that long.
No,
I mean,
no, no. And that's, and especially, a lot of times, even when you are lean on an everyday basis, you carry a good amount of water on you. So it has a different look. When you're on stage, you're pulling water a lot of times.
mhm.
And so it's not a look that you can reasonably maintain. It's just not. And unfortunately, some people don't understand that. Um, but that's just part of it. I guess as long as you have your mind right, everything will be fine. So
Yeah, yep.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I mean, I was excited to have you on. I was really looking forward to it. Thank you for coming on the show. I really
Yeah, thank you so much for
appreciate it.
having me. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If anybody wanted to reach out to you, or whether regard to like having you on the show or coaching, or like with your gym, like what would be the best way for them to contact you?
they can reach me through my Instagram, so it's Mel underscore go figure. I'm on Facebook too, Melanie Matulaitis, and then you can email me, melaniematulaitis@gmail.com. So
Awesome, awesome. And guys, I'm gonna link everything at the bottom, make it easier for you to reach Melanie. Melanie, thank you so much for coming on the show. I was really excited to have you.
thank you so much for having
Yeah,
me.
of course, of course. You take care. Bye bye.
Yeah, you too. Thanks. Bye bye.